I think what was reported was actually related to my son's account.
And that is Marjorie Taylor Greene blaming her own son for accusations she made big insider profits on the stock market.
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually asked my team about that today, why my name was on the list, because I don't even own any stocks, and I haven't all of 2023.
But as Ross Story reports, the Georgia Republican appeared in a report published Tuesday that named her among members of Congress who made the most money on the stock market. The study published by market analysis group Unusual Whales said many in Congress made unusually timed trades resulting in huge gains. The study said Greene made about 18.6% on her trades, higher than average, but below that of some other members of Congress.
As a matter of fact, we have to report everything, including children who are dependents of ours. And I think what was reported was actually related to my son's account that his father and I had set up for him years ago.
Headline: Marjorie Taylor Greene mocked for throwing son under bus when asked about stock trades. As Newsweek first reported, the ridicule has been intense. Michelle on X: so she is feeding insider info to her son so he can have an illegal leg up when trading. Is that what she's saying? Mark: using your son as a shell to buy and trade stocks.
So the Unusual Whales is a trading company looking for customers. They're not always accurate in their reporting, but thank you for bringing that up and letting me address that issue.
All right, well, maybe your son will have a better year.
Greene shares 2 sons and a daughter with her former husband, and the lawmaker did not clarify to Jesse Waters on Fox which son is responsible for the stock market gains. Previous disclosure filings by Greene show her children do own some shares. And House members sometimes disclose assets owned by dependent children in addition to stocks and investments owned by themselves and a spouse. Technically, Marjorie Taylor Greene may be correct that she herself did not own any stocks in 2023, but it's a little strange that she would fall back to that defense given her children clearly benefited from whatever financial advice or information was helping the entire family. And as Jesse Waters noted, members of Congress last year did much better than the percentage increase of the S&P 500.
After a lackluster 2022, 23 was a hot year for stocks. The S&P 500 was up 24%. So how's your portfolio looking? Bet it's not looking as good as members of Congress because politicians crushed the market last year. Their performance smoked, and I mean smoked, professional money managers who do this all day for a living.
So who was number one? It actually was not Greene. Rather, it was a Democrat heading for retirement.
Coming in at number 1, Democrat Congressman Brian Higgins from New York. He was up a whopping 239%. And he's going out on top. He's leaving Congress in February. Smart.
Congress has consistently refused to pass a ban on lawmakers engaged in insider stock trading, and that could be because the amount of money they are making is huge.
Our lawmakers made over $1 billion in financial transactions this year. A lot of them investing in companies that they had inside information on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what corruption looks like.
On that point, Waters is correct. It is corrupt. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has been at the center of corruption allegations for years. Nearly 2 years ago, Ross Story reported Marjorie Taylor Greene purchased Lockheed Martin stock 2 days before Russian invasion. As CongressTrading.com reported just outright, Marjorie Taylor Greene bought stock in America's largest defense contractor, Lockheed Martin, a day before tweeting, "War and rumors of war is incredibly profitable." That's right, Greene took to social media and complained about people making money off of war literally a day after she engaged in stock trades that made money off of Lockheed Martin, a huge defense contractor selling weapons to Ukraine. Perhaps that trading a few years ago was also done by one of Greene's sons without the lawmakers' knowledge. The bottom line is that all of this underscores why Congress should ban themselves and their families from engaging in stock trades while serving in office. Now, I can hear some of you saying, well, wait a second, why should we block lawmakers from stock trading and hold them to a higher standard than everyone else? Well, again, lawmakers have access to inside information well before the rest of the public gets it. This is indisputable, and it's also indisputable that members of Congress do far better in the stock market than the rest of us. The connection is clear. As for Marjorie Taylor Greene, I suppose we shouldn't pick on her for engaging in the sort of activity that is replicated by countless other lawmakers, but most other lawmakers will at least be honest when confronted about these sorts of financial loopholes. Greene always seems to fall back to, it's not my fault. That wasn't me, it was somebody else. Also, Greene has a long history of attacking other people who have not broken the law, but who have engaged in action or policy she doesn't like. Recently, Greene was called out on this to her face on the House floor by a fellow Republican.
By failing to abide by due process and constitutional constraints.
That is Tom McClintock of Arkansas. The Republican is trashing Marjorie Taylor Greene's attempted impeachment of a cabinet secretary and declaring it takes away from the GOP impeachment effort of President Biden.
Ms. Greene is tainting this serious impeachment inquiry with a shoot-from-the-hip stunt that is reckless, partisan, and manifestly unserious.
Reckless, partisan, and unserious. It was a brutal floor speech to Greene's face, who moments earlier introduced articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the influx of undocumented immigrants.
The ongoing invasion at our southern border is a direct national security threat against the states and against the citizens therein. Secretary Mayorkas has willfully abandoned his duty to secure the border and protect states against invasion.
An invasion, that's what Greene and other conservatives call the efforts by Spanish-speaking people who cross the border illegally. Never mind if they are seeking asylum or fleeing violence and terror in Central and South America, or think they can provide better for their family in America with, market returns on investment. Simply by coming to the United States, it's an invasion. The irony is that Republican McClintock agrees this is an invasion and that Secretary Mayorkas has failed to do his job.
If Ms. Greene is successful in redefining impeachment, then the next time Democrats have the majority, we can expect this new definition to be turned against the conservatives on the Supreme Court and any future Republican administration. And there will be nobody to stop them because Republicans will have now signed off on this new and unconstitutional abuse of power.
In other words, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to impeach a Biden cabinet member who was not doing anything illegal or criminal. He was simply engaged in a practice or policy Greene doesn't like. But when it comes to stock trading and using insider information in Congress to make a killing on the markets, Greene ignores it. Yes, the trading is legal, but Greene cannot even be bothered to condemn the stink and horrific image of the lawmakers' insider trading practice. Instead, Greene simply deflects and blames one of her sons. Once again, Marjorie Taylor Greene appears to have no shame and no integrity. And on top of it all, what kind of family values does Greene really have if she's willing to throw one of her kids under the bus for something that makes her look awful? Indeed, Marjorie Taylor Greene is awful, a horrible creature. By the way, Greene's MAGA frenemy in Congress, Lauren Boebert, just accidentally highlighted Boebert's own corruption.
When you have Barbara Streisand coming in and donating to the Democrat, when you have Ryan Reynolds coming in and donating to the Democrat, it shows you that Hollywood is trying to buy their way into Congress.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.